Hi, this is John Ryan. With me is Alex Browne, and we're watching the third place match here at the beach handball tournament. We're catching up because I interviewed Alex 4 years ago when I was here. And my big question is, quad ball. Do you like the new name, or do you think that they should have stuck with Quidditch?
I know why they changed it. As an alumni of kind of the International Quidditch Association, someone that played for 7 years, I still get the emails, I get the newsletter, and I was involved with the voting process. So I saw the other options. Quad ball was one of the strongest. I think there were reasons.
It had that QU thing going.
They all had the QU.
Oh,
you had to have the QU.
All right, this was meant to be a joke. I like where this is going. Continue.
Yeah, for sure. No, it is something. Of course, we stay involved with that. My wife Missy and I are very involved with Quidditch at UCLA, and then we played on a club team, and it's I think a lot of who we are now and how we got here. And so it's always cool to see that we get support from the UCLA players. They still kind of follow some of our action and what we've been up to these days. But I'll say I'm glad that they were able to separate from the IP. I hope that they're able to get more sponsors and things. I think they had some challenges with that when you're kind of under such a big IP that you don't necessarily have the leeway to be working under.
All that makes sense. I kind of just figured it was two people sitting around a sofa and just saying, we'll call it quad ball. Yeah. But I'm glad to see that they actually went through a whole process to come up with a...
Yeah, they're very organized. I'll say there's a lot. I always hear people kind of make comments like, how could Quidditch be doing so well? I guess now quad ball be doing so well when handball or any other sport that doesn't seem to be getting the traction isn't able to do that. And I think there's a lot that we're trying to learn from that. What we do in San Diego, we're trying to make the best out of some of the lessons that we pulled from that sport in terms of how do you get people involved, how do you make it accessible, and how do you get people playing.
Yeah, and that's a good segue. That's what I actually wanted to talk about. Not that I am one of those guys. I actually did a briefing at this Play the Game conference, and part of it was like, why is handball not doing anything? And the bottom line, Chiron said, even Quidditch is more popular. Which it is. But that's interesting. And what I want to talk a little bit is, I think since we talked, you moved to San Diego, you got married.
So we were down in San Diego at the time, but we hadn't really started the San Diego team, I think, in earnest at that moment. So our involvement in San Diego has definitely deepened. But yeah, I think gotten married and just trying to build this community and this club out there, and excited to be able to bring them up to LA for SoCals.
Yeah, and I follow on social media. I could be wrong, but I look at Rip Beach Handball, the Wizards, LA. I don't know how much that they really practice together, how much they, in a lot of what I see is social media, how much they have a community which, by all appearances, it could be a facade, but it doesn't look like a facade on social media. It looks like you guys have a group together that plays together and has fun, and it's like a real club. So that was a long-winded framing.
Well, I appreciate that. You can see kind of some of the intention that we're putting into the way that we're building the club and how we're constructing things. We realized, for us at least, when you come to an event like this, there's certainly a community that is, for example, the USA Men's Beach Handball player pool, and some of the players in LA, and they're friends that come out and participate in the USA camps. But things like RIP and LABHC, I think, is going to be different. I'm excited for them to hopefully continue growing. But in the past, when you've seen multiple RIP teams, a lot of that has been there's this group that comes together through the USA pool, and that's where the clubs come from. And for us, building a something that's separate, something that, we train together and then we play together, and have that community, have those people that, see each other more than just at the tournaments on the court.
Yeah, it's not like you guys you're competitive and you want to get better, and I think any club wants to do that, but you're not stacking teams. I think most of your folks live in San Diego, and all appearances is you're building that community, sticking with the horses you have, and trying to slowly build up.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we come into this tournament. I know the caliber of the players that are coming out to our practices and are training with us, and I really think that when things click, we're going to have the opportunity to compete with all of these players in the USA player pool, just because of chemistry and being able to play together and the level that we're going to be able to get up to. But I know it's going to take a while. A lot of these are very competitive players. I was joking after our results this year. Last year we came out with our San Diego players for the first time, and we ended up playing San Diego versus San Diego on the men's side in the 9th place game. This year we played San Diego versus San Diego in the 7th place game. So I'm saying we're on the 5-year plan. I'm looking forward to the San Diego versus San Diego final 3 years from now, hopefully sooner.
Well, if I show up and it's like an all San Diego final, that would be something else. Do you see and see that our indoor club system could be better. We sometimes get those mercenary teams that get thrown together. I'm a real fan of building a club, and San Diego coming up to play Los Angeles, play San Francisco. Everybody's from those communities, and nice rivalries are forming. You're practicing all those teams are practicing together each week. Maybe it becomes so popular there's a North Bay San Diego team and a South, maybe there's an Orange County team.
Yep.
How do you see beach handball evolving? Do you see it evolving like that, or what?
I think it's really important that there be more clubs that kind of start up in this way, and it's not just because certainly this tournament has a high level of play. I think the fact that we have been practicing together for a while and still have yet to crack in to the positions that I hope that we eventually achieve, especially on the men's side. I'll say our women are of course doing significantly better and are showing the value of that practice, but it's something that I hope we show.
Just like you. I mean, if you wanted to go play for one of the 4 teams that finished in the top 4, they would have added you to one of those rosters, bro.
And in the past, I've had the luck and the fortune to play with RIP teams and play with those guys. But there's something... I want to be involved in what I hope is the future of beach handball. I know there's a few kind of, let's call it selfish desires from me and Missy to have something where we can get better at coaching, we can build a community, we can build something in San Diego and not have to necessarily come up to LA. So part of it is I think there needs to be more opportunities to play in different settings. It's a little unfortunate that for beach handball, if you don't live in one of 5 or 6 locales, it's difficult to find a group that plays together.
Yes and no. I mean, beach volleyball for many years was just California, Southern
sure.
California.
Yeah.
And if that was beach handball, I don't think that would be a bad thing. If there was like a San Diego tournament in June, an LA tournament in August, Northern California tournament in July, I don't know, something like that, where there was like a little bit of a tour.
And I think that's what we'd like to get to, and part of that's going to come from hopefully us being able to talk about and show what we're doing in San Diego to the players that have the experience to coach, that have the ability to teach, that have the willingness to get involved on that level and want to see the sport grow in the way that we want to. And hopefully they are able to start building their Orange County teams, their LA teams, their Bay Area teams, their Inland Empire teams, whatever it might be. And we can start to have those type of events where every community comes out together and it's kind of a little celebration of all the different groups that we have. But then separately, we're all close enough to, on the men's side and on the women's side, to have these camps, have these events. So if you want to be involved in that high-level, intense training, having those separate clubs where you continue to train and play and develop new players, but then that feeds into the more intense side for people that are interested in it. It's a great system, and I really hope, we're starting to see on the women's side some of our players get called up to the national team for the first time. Very, very exciting to see homegrown San Diego players involved in that. I know that some of our men's players are starting to break into the player pool a little bit, and so for us, that's not the goal, but we know that having a club and having a community is going to draw those people and get people that want to compete.
It's a numbers game. Like how many people are in the San Diego club?
We probably have a group of about 50 people that come out.
50?
Yeah, not consistently. We can get 15 to 20 pretty consistently, but
it's always, anybody starting a handball club knows it's a numbers game.
Yeah. Our first practices,
you might get 15 people to show up, but you're not going to get, if you have 15 people, you might get 15 to show up sometimes. A lot of times it'll be 5, 10. Yeah, 50 people.
Yeah, we had our first kind of open event, just like beach day, come out with your friends and family, and on that day we were able to get 2 courts running. We had 4 different teams split up, full rosters.
That's awesome.
We had community out there.
Every time you do something like that, you're going to introduce the sport to 10 people. One of those 10 is going to go like, hey, I like this.
And I'm really excited. I mean, even though we're not on some of these teams, players that have come through the San Diego system are starting to end up on teams that are making it to these final games. LABHC, for example, is a squad that has Jake Johnson. He's a great player. He started playing in San Diego. He moved out of the area. We had the opportunity for him to play on one of our squads where we have more guests invited. But like you kind of mentioned, we try to keep it as much San Diego as possible. And we said, hey, I think you're going to have a good opportunity to play on a different team. He ends up on a squad with some of our national team guys, and now they're in the finals, as well as some other players that have come out and for their first time are learning as friends of that group to play in San Diego.
Well, all right. Well, we'll wrap things up here. I'm kind of looking at the logo now on your hat. I didn't really notice that this is gear that you can get at the San Diego Sea Dragons website. I don't know if that's true, but you saw how Quidditch changed to quad ball. How did you come up with the Sea Dragon nickname?
Sea Dragons, everything that we try to do is community-based. So what we did is we asked everyone in our club, hey, do you have any names that you think would be great for a San Diego team? We collected some of the ones that we thought were the best, and then we asked the team, vote on your favorites.
What came in second?
I think that might have been the San Diego Sandpipers.
Burrito.
The San Diego Burritos didn't do quite so hot.
That would be unique. There's something to be said about a unique nickname that nobody else has.
Yeah, there's San Diego Sandpipers, San Diego Sea Dogs. People really like the alliteration.
Yeah.
I think San Diego Tsunami was also a popular choice, but
that is kind of a negative connotation.
But it's always that was one of the tiebreakers that we went with, and I'm really happy with how the Sea Dragons ended up becoming our logo and our mascot.
All right. Well, I knew there had to have been a plan in place because I'm watching what you guys do. It looks like you're well on the way to. I'll just say it. Look, be the model beach handball club. From my perspective, watching this event, like you said, you guys tied for 7th. But what I see on social media, what I saw here, as a community from different teams, you guys are doing a great job.
I appreciate that, and I know that we don't always have the opportunity to play these games. It's so important for us. A lot of the teams that are getting to the finals, getting on those games, have that experience, and I look forward to our community getting the experience and continuing to grow.
All right, Alex. Great talking to you.
Hey, great talking to you too. Thank you.